Aloha, everybody, and welcome to one of our short transmissions. We're going to have a couple of ones in between the long ones. Today, I must share something that came through as I was going kilo shopping 2 Sundays ago. I met someone very random, not so random, always serendipitous, and it was somebody that I knew maybe like very, very superficially many years ago. And it's from my same hometown. And when I went out of the shop, this person somehow found me on Instagram and whatever. Long story short, this person turns out that works for the artist that we're going to discuss about today. It's time for apocalypse. It's time for unveilings. It's time to really call out and expose the works of darkness. Ephesians 5:11. I'm just gonna go and read from King James, just cause I'm whimsical like that. You'll get to know me in time. And have no fellowship with unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them, but instead expose them. And so do not participate, my beloved one. So this is really pertinent to the transmission about ambrosia, because in fact, this is one of the connection points. And we're going to talk about ambrosia and Elodie. Elodie is the artist or so-called artist. I'm not going to get into personal opinions of what I'm going to be showing. You're going to consider by yourself. So ambrosia, we can say, is the name of this man who is a transvestite and calls himself a trans woman. He has been present on the stage and on tour with Elodie, the drag queen, on stage presenting a national tour with this woman, Elodie. She says to DJ radio and different interviews as well. We're talking about indeed Italian artists, yeah. So in some of the pictures, you're going to see Italian text, but I'm going to translate it as we go together for us. And so LD calls a drag queen for the sensual move, basic instinct in her video. And who is Ambrosia? There's one video, one song in particular that's called Bathe at Midnight, or bathing at midnight. And Elodie says to be giving an homage to Beyonce and Rihanna. That's really indicative. And also giving space to the drag queen to quote basic instinct. I don't know, you guys, but I find this to be very, very exemplifying of the externalization of the hierarchies. To quote Alice Bailey, who has been prophesying about these times 100 years ago. And so here we are. And I'm going to translate for you the post by Stars of the Web that says Ambrosia, one of the drag queens, presents on the stage at Palazzo dello Sport a moment of sweetness and tenderness with Elodie. It was a day no for Ambrosia. She was feeling, I'm just quoting, guys, because I would never call this man a she. She was feeling wrong in the hair and the hands and the voice. But then came out on the stage and the public looked at Ambrosia with love, and Elodie especially with love. And then she kissed him. So the singer decides to give an explore of all of her sensuality, she says, in front of the camera, and to realize the clip of the video to promote the album together and to discuss right to use her body, whatever and however she pleases, and in her capacity, blah, 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 blah. I don't know you guys, but what I'm looking at is very evident, very self-explanatory, and disturbing. This is indeed foreign riches. This is not a wealth that comes from one's own well and one's own righteousness and alignment. This is foreign riches, for they come from foreign spirits and gods. Her name, indeed connected to El. Many think that El was the name of the Most High, when in fact it is not. El was the supreme and patriarchal head of the ancient Ugaritic or Canaanite pantheon. And he was depicted as a wise, elderly created god, often called as Bul El, for strength, and ruled from a mountain by the source of the two rivers. He was married to Asherah, father of Baal, Anat, Yahweh, and Yam, often seen in the form of a bull, and sometimes also referred to as Shor El, the bull god. El, Al, or Il. And I do not wish to enter right now in the entire discussion about Allah or Yahweh and the different usage of such names. But nonetheless, there's different authors and different speakers that touch upon the differences between Yahweh and Jehovah and the different fathers in the texts, and especially the plural. Elohim, which for me does not refer to the Most High, yet the group of divine beings and gods. I would say very important to indeed mention the Enuma Elish, and from the Akkadian cuneiform, meaning when on high, and it was recovered by English archaeologist Austin Harry Loyard in 1849 in fragmentary form in the ruined library of Ashurbanipal at Nineveh in Mosul, Iraq. I find it a little bit fishy as well, that the resemblance of the name Eilish and Eilish, or also known as Hilsa, and very sought after fish in the Bengal region. And the entire connection with the symbol of Jesus being a fish, and the Akkadian Anunnaki wearing a headdress and a fish shape. It's indeed also the Dogon god, or some depiction of the Mithras or the Matse avatar. It is fair to notice also that Elodie Young played in the Egyptian goddess Hathor, goddess of love, in 2016 fantasy film Gods of Egypt. Once again, these are very sneaky and very old agenda, attempting to be not just attempting. I mean, they're really managing to sift through scholarly institutions, and these are the examples that are getting passed as acceptable in the presence of children, in the presence of youth, in the presence of the future leaders. I'm not going into detail into what the Enuma Elish really contains and what are my opinions about it today. This is about this fishy situation and this propaganda that it's just so rampant. And not to go too far, if you go and take a look at the first ladies in the United States, most of them were actually first mama's boys. And so it takes balls to be a fairy, huh? And interesting also the connection I found between this transvestite man that calls himself divine, the divine bride of Frankenstein. So I'm pretty sure you notice these days the rampant presence of, again, vampire movies and themes and Frankenstein, and both movies coming out. And so this is nothing new, guys. This has been going on for thousands of years. This is going on for eons, and this is the last age. But first thing must be exposed. We've been seeing this in the last 4 or 5 years with the coming out of the transgender. I mean, I really don't like to use this word, but whatever. This baphometry in the sports, also in high schools, and the enforcement of drag queen story hour, or not sure how you call it. Yeah, around the United States, there's all of these drag queens reading children books, and also promoting acceptance and sensibilization in high schools and colleges for transgender runners, such as runner Sese, Tayfair. Interesting, because just to sidetrack 1 second from it, because Tiferet actually is one of 10 Sephirot of the divine emanation of the tree of life in the Hebrew Kabbalah. This male is chosen the name beautiful. Not only we're seeing the very unfair, destroying distraction of women's sports and the ridiculous flooding of testosterone, of pheromones, flooding of female hormones, and also I came across this androgynous model called Rain Dove. Keeps on saying that it's both and it's neither nor, but I'm pretty sure that it's a male at birth. And look at the Baphomet sign. We're not gonna enter too much in detail, but today this video is about Ambrosia and Elodie, transvestia, age of deception, this being clearly enjoys ourselves and sees ourselves in specific ways. Her albums and shows resemble very specific symbolisms, including the green light and twilight and cross and snakes and animalier skin suit, as to refer to the edges, mocking the cross, wearing a green bolero, as to represent the serpent of Esculapio or Asclepius, the true symbol of medicine, or so they say, not to be confused with the stuff of the Caduceus, of Hermes. This is the externalization of the hierarchies, guys. Here we have their symbology and what they stand for over and over again in our face. We have such so-called woman, Elodie, performing for sure on stage, kissing the hand. It is all completely crafted and painted in a way to make it look like that we must be all inclusive, that everybody has feelings, that we are all the same, that also males have the right to be sensitive and vulnerable, and surely it is. And yet, this is not what it looks like. If this is something that is supposed to be okay to be looked at by children, oh boy. Thank you so much for watching and connecting, and I'll see you soon.
Fa capire quanto è importante a volte ricevere un abbraccio dagli sguardi.